Hello my dear friends, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. So you are very welcome in a lecture number 2 of Introduction to Graph. Okay? Yes, so I hope you will enjoy this lecture my dear friends. Yes, now let's start without wasting the time. So today we are going to discuss a pie graph or a circle graph. Okay? Now here you can see that. What is pie graph? So basically a pie graph is used to represent the parts of a whole. It is used to represent the parts of a whole. Okay, a circle is used to represent the whole. Understand? So a pie chart is a type of graph that represent the data in the circular graph. Circular graph. In bar graph, what is happening in the bar graph? So in bar graph, the data is represented in the form of bars. But in the pie chart, the data is represent. Okay, this is a type of graph that represent the data in the circular graph. In the what? Yes, in the circular graph. I hope you get this point. Understand? So here is the slices of pie shows the relative size of the data, and it is a type of pictorial representation of data. Okay, so what are the slices in the pie? Okay, so we will see later in the diagram. Okay, yeah, so here is a pie chart requires a list of categorical variables. Okay, and numerical variables. Okay, so these type of two variables pie chart requires. Here the term pie represent the whole, and the slices represent the parts of the whole. Here you can see that with the help of example you can understand this. The pie graph below is used to represent the pupils choice of television channels. Here you can see that this is the pie graph. So now the circle as a whole here is represented by all the pupils who took part in the survey. It means this whole circle represents that it is representation of the pupil who take the part in the survey. Okay, now since it is a whole, we know that the sum of all the percentage represented in the graph, okay, represented in the pie graph must added up to 100%. So all the percentage, if we add, this will equals to the 100%. Now here, with the help of this pie chart, we can say that 10%, this is the sector which represent the 10% people. Okay, 10% people in the television wanted to see the informative channel. 15% people wanted to see the news channel. 25% people wanted to see sports channel, and 50% people wanted to see the entertainment channel. Okay, so with the help of this pie chart we can say that what is the percentage of particular channels. Okay, understand my dear friend? I hope you get this point. So here this is the pie chart, which is also known as circle chart, and it is divide the circular statistical graphics into sector. Here you can see that these are the sectors. Okay, different sections. Understand? Okay, so each sector denotes the proportionate part of the whole. Proportionate part of the whole. So to find out the composition of something, pie chart works the best at the time. Okay, so in most cases pie chart replaces other graphs like the bar graph, line plots, histograms, etc. Okay, understand my dear friends? Yes, now let's see the examples. A pie chart can be used to represent the relative size of a variety of data, like the type of houses, like 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, etc. people have. Okay, types of two-wheelers or four-wheelers people have. Okay, number of customers a retail market has in all weekends. Okay, so this is the example. Weight of students in a class, types of cousins, like liked by different pupils in an event, monthly expenditure of a family, etc. Okay, so these are the what? These are the examples of pie charts. Okay, now what is the usage of pie chart? Here, within a business, it is used to compare areas of growth such as turnover, profits, exposures, etc. To represent categorical data, to show the performance of students in a test, etc. Okay, so here we are going to use the pie chart. Understand? Now let's see the advantages and disadvantages. So advantages are, here is, the picture is simple and easy to understand. So pie chart is what? Pie chart is a picture, it is a simple and easy to understand. So data can be represented visually as a fractional part of a whole. Okay, it helps in providing an effective communication tool for the even uniformed audience. Understand? And it provides a data comparison for the audience at a glance to give an immediate analysis or to quickly understand information. Now next advantage is no need for readers to examine or measure underlying numbers themselves, which can be removed by using this chart. Okay, and to emphasize a few points you want to make, and you can manipulate prices of data in the pie chart. This is again. Okay, now let's see the disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages? So it becomes less effective if there are too many pieces of data to use. Okay, so where there are lot of pieces of data to use, at that condition it is less effective. Okay, if there are too many pieces of data, even if you add data labels and numbers, may not help there. They themselves may become crowded and hard to read. Okay, as this chart only represents one set data, so you need a series of compare multiple sets. This may make it more difficult for readers when it comes to analyze and assimilate information quickly. Understand? So these are the what? These are the disadvantages. Okay, now here is, my dear friends, here you can see pie charts. We know that an important types of data representation, and it contains different segments and sectors, in which each segment and sectors of a pie forms a specific portion of a total percentage. Okay, forms a specific portion of a total percentage. Here you can see that in this, it different section forms a specific, okay, forms a specific portion of a total percent. Okay, here you can see it is specific, and so on. Okay, so the sum of all the percentage is equals to 360 degrees. So total value of the pie is always 100%. Now to work out with the percentage for a pie chart, follow these steps. Here you can see, first of all we have to categorize the data, then we have to calculate the total, okay, and divide the categories and convert it into percentage, then finally calculate the degree. Then finally we have to calculate the degree. Okay, understand, my dear friend? So here is the pie chart formula is given, as you can see that. So we can find the central angle of each component. Here how we can find it? So here is the formula is given data upon total value of data, given data upon total value of data into 360 degree. Into what? Into 360 degree. Okay, so with the help of this formula we can easily find the central angle. Okay. Yes. Now there is a note that it is not mandatory to convert the given data into percentage until it is specified. Okay. So we can directly calculate the degrees for given data values and draw the pie chart accordingly. Okay. So we no need to convert the data into percentage. Okay. Until it is not specified. Okay. Understand? We can directly calculate the degree because we know that the formula like the given data upon total values into 360. So we get the central angle. Okay. So with the help of this we can directly calculate the degree. Okay. And then we can draw the pie chart accordingly. Okay. Yes. Now let's move on. Now here is, now let's see. Let's learn how to create a pie chart. Okay. Now here is, imagine a teacher surveys her class on the basis of favorite sports of students. Okay, so a teacher is surveying her class on the basis of favorite sports of students. Okay, so in football there are total 10 students which like the football. There are 5 students which like hockey. There are 5 students which like cricket. There are 10 students which like basketball and 10 students who like badminton. Okay, understand? So the data above can be represented by a pie chart. Okay, as following, and by using the circle graph formula, that is the pie chart formula given here is, it makes the size of the portion easy to understand. So how we can do it? Let's do that. So first of all, in step number first, here we have to enter the data into the table. So here you can see that. Okay, so this is the data, okay, in the form of table. Now in the second step, add all the values in the table to get the total. So if we add the values here, 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10. So here in this case, total students are what? 40. Total students are 40. Okay, now we have to find the percentage out of total. So here you can see that. Now next, divide each values by the total and multiply by 100 to get a percent. Okay, here you can see that we know that 10 students like football. So the percent is what? 10 upon 40 into 100. We get 25%. It means we can say that 25% students like the football. Here you can see that 5 students like the hockey. If we convert it into percent, so we have to divide 5 by 40 into, and we have to multiply with 100. So we get 12.5%. We get what? 12.5%. Now similarly, we can find the percent in cricket. So we can write it as, we know that 5 students like the cricket. So after converting it into percent, we get 12.5%. Similarly, basketball, if we convert this, we get 25%. In badminton, we get 25%. Okay, and if we add these percent, we get 100%. We get what? 100%. Let's see, 25% plus 12.5% plus 12.5% plus 25% plus 25%. If this is equals to 100%, then we can say that this data is correct. Okay, so 25% plus 12.5 plus 12.5, which is 25%, plus 25% plus 25%. After adding this, we get 100%. We get what? 100%. So we can say that this is correct. Okay, now to draw the pie graph, we have to find the central angle of the segment, of each segment. Okay, yes. So how we can find it? Now next, to know how many degrees for each pie sector we need, we will take a full circle of 360 degree and follow the calculations. Okay, so the central angle of each component is, we know that the value of each component divided by sum of the values of all the components into 360. Okay, so you can see that 10 is what? 10 students like the football, and 40 is the total number of students. So 10 upon 40 into 360, what? Into 360. So here we get 90 degree. So the central angle of football is 90 degree. I hope you understand these things. And if you talk about hockey, here is, you know that 5 is what? 5 students like hockey, and 40 is the total students. So 5 upon 40 into 360. So this will give 45 degree. This will give what? 45 degree. Similarly, in cricket, it is also give 45 degree. Similarly, in basketball, after solving this, we get 90 degree. And in badminton, we get again 90 degree. So these are the what? These are the central angle of football, hockey, cricket, basketball, and badminton. Understand, my dear friends? Now we can draw easily pie graph. Okay, so here is, now draw a circle and use the protractor to measure the angle of each sector. Angle of each sector. So here you can see that after drawing a circle with the help of protractor, we can draw the angles. We can draw the angles. Understand? So if you see that here is, they are the different segment, different sectors. So here you can see that we are representing this color to the football. Here is, okay, and we are representing this color to basketball. We are representing this color to badminton. We are representing this orange color to hockey, and we are representing this yellow color to cricket. So now you can see that we know that in football the angle is what? 90 degree. Okay, so here you can see that we know that this is the representation. This section represent the football. Okay, this section represent the football. So the angle is what? 90 degree. And percentage is what? Percentage is 25%. It is, yes, percentage is, we can write 25%. Okay, now if you talk about this section, this sector, this is what? This sector represent basketball. What is? Basketball. And we know that in basketball, here is the the degree is 90 degree and the percent is 25%. So again we can write, here we can write in this, angle is 90 degree and the percent is 25%. What is 25%? Now if you talk about the badminton, so we can say that this segment, or we can say this sector is what? This sector is of badminton. What is badminton? And in badminton, we know that central angle is 90 degree. So you can see that this angle is what? 90 degree. Okay, and the percentage is what? You can see in badminton this is 25%. Okay, so we can write this is 25%. Yes, now if you talk about the hockey, so this sector represents the hockey, and the angle is what? Here you can see angle is, okay, for angle is 45 degree. What is 45 degree? So this is 45 degree. Now if you talk about the percentage, so the percent of hockey is what? 12.5%. So we can write 12.5%. Similarly, in cricket, the central angle is 45 and percentage is 12.5%. So this is what? This is the pie chart, or we can say pie graph, or we can say circle chart. Okay, so these are the sectors of favorite sports percentage. I hope, my dear friend, you understand these things, that how to deal with these types of problems. Okay, yes, now let's move on. Now let's solve the problems. Okay, yes, so now here is, you can see that question number 1 is the percentage of various crops cultivated in a village of particular district are given in the following table. Here you can see. Okay, so the items are what? Wheat, pulses, jowar, groundnuts, vegetables. Okay, and percentage of crops. Here is, it is given percentage of crops, which is 125 upon 3, 125 upon 6, 25 upon 2, 50 upon 3. Okay, and it is 25 upon 3. Okay, yes, so now here we have percentage, and if we add these percentage, we get 100. Yes, so we get what? 100. So now represent this information using a pie chart. Okay, so first of all, my dear friends, we have to find the central angle of each component. What? Yeah, the central angle of each component. And how we can find the central angle? Okay, so the formula, we know that central central angle is equals to component value divided by 100, because total is what? Total 100, into 360 degree, into what? 360 degree. Okay, let's calculate the central angle. Okay, yes, now you can see that. Now here we have to find the central angle. Okay, in this column we have item which is wheat, pulses, jowar, groundnuts, vegetables. Here we have percentage of crops. Okay, and here is 25 upon 3, 125 upon 6, 25 upon 2, 50 upon 3, 25 upon 3, and here is 100. Total is what? 100. Now we know that for finding the central angle, okay, component value divided by 100 into 360, we get the central angle. It means 125 upon 3 divided by 100, okay, into what? Into 360 degree, into 360 degree. Okay, and here is after solving this. So after solving this complete, here we get 150 degree. We get what? 150 degree. Now for finding the angle of pulses, so here is 125 upon 6 and it is whole divided by 100. Now this is completely multiplied by 360 degree. After solving this, we get 75 degree. We get what? Yeah, 75 degree. Now we can find the angle for the component of jowar. So here is 25 upon 2 and it is whole divided by 100, and this will be multiplied by 360 degree. So we get 45 degree. We get what? 45 degree. Now here is 50 upon 3 and it is divided by 100, and after solving this and it is multiplied by 360 degree, we get 60 degree. We get what? 60 degree. Understand? Now here is 25 upon 3 and it is divided by 100 and it is multiplied with 360 degree. So here after solving this, here we get 30 degree. We get what? 30 degree. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you understand these things. So this is what? This is the table. Now here let's see the steps of construction. First of all, draw the circle. We have to draw a circle of an appropriate radius. Okay. Now draw a vertical radius anywhere inside the circle. Here you can see that we are drawing a vertical radius. Here you can see that this is okay. And in the next step, choose the largest central angle, which is largest central angle is what? 150 degree. Okay. Now construct a sector of a central angle whose one radius coincides with the radius drawn in step 2. Okay, and the other radius is in the clockwise direction to the vertical radius. So here you can see that we have to draw the angle of 150 degree, which is the largest angle. Okay, with the help of this vertical radius, and with the help of protractor, we can draw 150 degree angle. So we make this. Okay, so this section is what? This section, or we can say this sector, represent the V, which is the largest angle. Okay, and after this we can make all these angles like 75 degree, 60 degree, 45 degree, 30 degree, and we know that these are the what? These are the percentage. Okay, 41.66% is what? It is the wheat. 28.80%, this is pulse. 16.67%, this is groundnut. 12.5%, this is jowar, and 8.34%, this is vegetables. So this is the method to construct the pie chart. Okay, understand? Yes. Now let's move on to the next question here, which is, now here we have the pie chart shows the marks obtained by a student in an examination. If the student secure 440 marks in all, okay, so then calculate the marks in each of the given subject. Okay, we have to calculate the marks in each of the following given subject. Okay, so here you can see that in this, here is, if you observe this section represents mathematics, this section represents science, and this section represent the English, this section represent Hindi, and this section represent social science. Okay, understand? So here it is given that the degree is given that this is 108 degree, this is 81 degree, this is 72 degree, this is 54 degree, and this sector is what, 45 degree. Got it? Now here we have to calculate the marks in each of the given subject, in each of the given subject. Now if you observe this, here we can find the central angle with the help of component value. So we can also find the component value with the help of central angle. This is the reverse process. So here we are going to do the reverse process. Okay, what? Yes, now let's find that. So here is, now the given pie chart, okay, we know that shows the marks obtained, okay, in the form of degree, okay. Now it is given that, here we have given that total marks is what, here you can see that total marks is 440. What is 440? Okay, now we know that the formula of central angle is what? The formula of central angle is, here is component value, and it is divided by total value, into 360 degree, and here we have to find the component value. So the formula for component value is here is central angle into total value, and it is divided by 360 degree. Okay, so this is the method. From this we can find the marks in mathematics, marks in science, marks in social science, because we know that the central angle of each component. Understand? So now we can calculate the marks. So here is marks in mathematics. Okay, so this is what, this is equals to central angle, okay, divided by 360 degree into total values, or we can say total marks. Okay, so central angle is what? So central angle of mathematics is 108 degree. So we can write 108 divided by 360 degree into total marks is, we know that total marks is 440. Understand? Yes, now we can divide 360 degree by 2. Okay, in how many times? We can divide it as 180 times, and we can divide 108 by 2 in 54 times. Again we can divide 180 by 90 times, and we can divide 54 by 2 in what? In 27 times. Okay, now here we can divide 90 by 3 in 30 times. We can divide 27 by 3 in 9 times. We can divide 9 by 3 in 3 times, and we can divide 30 by 3 in 10 times. And this 0 is cancelled. And here we have 3 into 44. Okay. So after multiplying this, we get 132 marks. So in mathematics, marks is what? 132. Similarly, we can find marks in, here is marks in science, marks in science. Okay, so what is, so central angle is what? Central angle in science is, here you can see 81 degree. So this is 81 degree. So 81 upon 360 degree. Okay, into total marks is 440. This 0 and this 0 is cancelled. Understand? So after solving this, here you can see that we can divide it by 3. We can divide it by 3. So we get 1, 2, 12, and we can divide it by 3. We get 2, 7, 27. We can divide it by 3 in 4 times, and we can divide by 3 in what? In, yes, 9 times. We can divide 44 by 4 in 11 times. So we get 9 into 11, which is equals to 99 marks. So the marks in science is 99. Okay. Now marks in English. Marks in English, it is, here is central angle. Central angle in English is what? 72 degree. That is 72 degree. So 72 upon 360 into what? Into 440. So this 0 is cancelled. This 0 is cancelled. So we can divide it by 3 in 12 times, and we can divide it by 3 in what? In 24 times. In 24 times. Okay, and we can divide 24 by 12 in which times? In 2 times. So here we have 2 into 44. So after solving this, we get 88. So the marks in English is 88 marks. Okay, now marks in Hindi. Now in Hindi, here is central angle is what? Central angle, here you can see. In Hindi, central angle is 54 degree. So this will become like 54 upon 360 degree into 440. This 0 is cancelled. This 0 is cancelled. Okay, now again, okay, so we can divide 36 by 3 in 12 times, and we can divide 54 by 3 in which times? In 18 times. Okay, and again we can divide 12 by 3 in 4 times, and we can divide 18 by 3 in 6 times. We can divide 44 by 4 in 11 times. So here we get 6 into 11, which is what? 66 marks. 66 marks. Yes, now the last is marks in social science. Social science. So what is? So again, what is the central angle? So central angle is 45 degree. So this is, here you can see 45. This is what? 45 upon 360 into 440. Again this 0 is cancelled. Again we can divide it by 3. We get 12, and if we divide it by 3, here we get 15. Again we can divide it by 3 in 4 times, and we can divide it by 3 in 5 times, and we can divide it by 44 by 4 in 11 times. So we get 11 into 5, which is 55 marks. What is 55 marks? So here you can see that in mathematics it has 132 marks. In science it is 99. In English it is 88. In Hindi it is 66. And in social science it is 45. So if we make, if we add these marks, if this is equals to 440, then we can say that our solution is correct. Okay, so let's do that. So 132 plus 99 plus 88 plus 66 plus 55. Okay, understand? So after solving this, if you add this, here we get 440. So this is equals to this total marks. Understand, my dear friends? So this is what? This is the method. This is the problems related to the pie chart. Okay. Yes, now you can see that next question is the number of hours spent by a schoolboy on a different activities in a working day is given as. Here you can see that. Here we have activities like sleep, school, home, play, others. Okay, and the number of hours here is 8, 7, 4, 2, 3. So we can say that here is a schoolboy spent 8 hours on sleep, 7 hours in school, 4 hours in home, and he spent 2 hours for play. He spent 3 hours in other activities. And the total is what? Total is 24. Total is what? 24. Now represent this information in the form of pie chart. So we have to represent it. For representing this, first of all, we have to find the central angle for sleep, for school, for home, for play, and for others. X, Y, Z. Understand? So first of all, we have to find the central angle. Then we can draw. In this question, it is not asking for the percentage, so we need to find the percentage. Okay, we are going to directly find the central angles. Okay. Now here is first of all, total number of hours is what? Total number of hours is, we know that this is 24. Total is what? Total number of hours is 24. Now central angle, formula for central angle is, here you can see, it is equals to component value, okay, component value divided by total value, which is 24, and it is multiplied by 360 degree. So after solving this, we can find the central angle. Now let's make the table. So here is, you can see that here we have activities, which is sleep, school, home, play, and others. Here we have number of hours, which is 8, 7, 4, 2, 3. Now we have to find the central angle. How we can find it? Listen to me very carefully. So here is, we know that component value, which is 8, divided by total value, which is 24, and it is multiplied by 360 degree. Okay. Now 24 can be divided by 8 in 3 times, and this can be divided, 360 can be divided by 3 in 120 times. So we get 120 degree. We get what? 120 degree. Now central angle for school. So here is 7 upon, here is 24 in multiplied by 360 degree. So after solving this, we get 105 degree. 105 degree. Now for home, here you can see for home, 4 upon 24 into 360 degree. Got it? Now after solving this, we get 60 degree. We get what? 60 degree. Now the next one is, you can see that 2 upon 24 into 360 degree. Okay, so this will become like, so if you solve this, you get 30 degree. Now for other, it is 3 upon 24 into 360 degree. Okay, so after solving this, so this is 45 degree. It is 45 degree. So these are the what? These are the central angle. These are the central angle, my dear friends. Now let's see the steps of constructing the pie chart. So here is, first of all, draw a circle of an appropriate radius. Okay, we are going to make the circle with an appropriate radius. Okay, randomly. Now draw a vertical radius anywhere inside the circle. So here, let's suppose you can draw anywhere. So we are drawing a vertical radius like this. So let's suppose we are drawing the vertical radius like this. So this is what vertical radius. Now with the help of this radius and protractor, we can easily draw an angle of central angle. So the angle, central angle is what? Central angle is 120 degree. So choose the largest central angle, which is 120 degree, and construct a sector of central angle of 120 degree. Of what? Of 120 degree. So this is of 120 degree. Understand, my dear friend? Now here is, next is, construct other sector representing other values in clockwise direction in descending order of magnitude of their central angle. Now here like this. So with the help of these, we are drawing the different sectors. Okay, and in the last, shade these sectors so obtained by different colors and label them as shown in the figure. Here you can see that. So here we are drawing this. Okay, so this sector represents sleep, and in sleep we know that a boy spent 8 hours, and this is of 120 degree. Now this color here, green color, represent the school, and in school we know that a boy spent 7 hours. A boy what? A boy spent 7 hours, and we know that the central angle of school is what? 105 degree. What is 105 degree? Okay, and this pink color represent for home, and in home we know that it is spent 4 hours, and the central angle is 60 degree. What is 60 degree? Okay, I know you. I hope you understand these things. Now this color represent the play. So for play we know that a boy spent 2 hours, and the central angle is 30 degree. What is 30 degree? Got it? Now this color represent for others, and we know that a boy spent 3 hours for other activities, and the central angle is 45 degree. What is 45 degree? So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things, how to draw a pie chart. So this is enough for today, and we will meet in the next lecture with the next amazing topic. So thank you very much for listening me, and take care and goodbye.